Good morning and welcome to Coffee and, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question to the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocket.radio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee and panel.
Coffee and here on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us on this Friday morning. It is St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, and my name is Joe Callahan. At the Coffee and table, as per usual on a Friday, is Dave Richards. Good morning, Dave.
Hey, how are you, Joe?
Good,
and top of the morning to you.
Thank you very much. And we're expecting Melissa Murray to be joining us, and yes, we also expected Judy Sullivan to be here as well.
She's putting the last round of calisthenics together.
Quite possibly.
Yeah.
So before we get into everything we need to discuss here on the Coffee program, Rich Lane's coming in at 8:30.
Of course.
It's time for your first message from Dave with the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce.
I go to my inbox, Joe, and I see an event invite right there. The HR Roundtable Reasonable Suspicion Training for Managers and Supervisors. Who would put this together for you but the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce? If you're a member, this is something you want to be at on April the 6th at 8:30 in the morning, because, you know, they passed these laws and you're trying to figure out, well, how do we circumnavigate? Because, you know, you don't want to break the law, but at the same time, you don't have a lot of time to investigate laws and understand exactly how to implement them. Well, the Chamber has that taken care of for you. And all you got to do is be a member and then go to these seminars, and you will find it will be great help to you and your organization. This will be at the Big Brothers and Big Sisters, Rhode Island. The training aims to help employers and HR professionals with the tools and resources they need to proactively address substance use issues in the workplace, which is another little thing that's being put on businesses. What the heck? Responsibilities of a manager or supervisor to promote a healthy and safe work environment. When not to look the other way. When somebody has personal issues and finds that they can't deal with them any other way but in a chemical manner. It means what it means to be fit at work. Reasonable suspicion under the Rhode Island law of the fact that you are not fit for work. And all that wonderful stuff like that. You'll see Pam Thornton and Gregory, I don't know this guy, Tomolo, and they are both experts on the situation. And if you're a member of the Chamber, you get a chance to enjoy it on April the 6th. Then if I take a look at the top 5 reasons to offer College-Bound Saver in the workplace. College-Bound Saver is a great little deal. It's a benefit that you give your employees where it can certainly help with the financing of college for your employees and their I was going to say progeny, that's a big word, kids. There you go. Also, there's the events list, the list of all the interesting, I got a bunch of emails in here, and the Coastal Credit Union is sponsoring some different things in here. We've got the March 21st, that's next week. Cheers for 3 years. The Women's Business Council anniversary party at the Guild in Pawtucket. Also next week on Thursday is the 23rd. Let's Talk Labor, addressing Rhode Island's workforce challenges. Then on March the 30th, the following Thursday, it's the Eggs and Issues Breakfast with Senate President Dominic Ruggiero at the Kirkbrae Country Club from 8:15 to 9:30 a.m. Really big stuff. I talked about the HR Roundtable, but later in the month on April, you might want to put this in your calendars. The Emerging Leaders Meeting Network pop-up at Dart City, which is the R1 indoor karting facility. They sectioned off a portion of it for darts. They also have, if I remember, they have axe throwing there too as well. All those very interesting things you just can't do anywhere. It's at the R1 Indoor Karting in Lincoln from 5 to 7. So there you go. And advocacy, of course, is always a very, very big thing, and they're watching the legislature. I'll tell you more about that in our next message for the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. Joe?
We got the message from Judy Sullivan. She can't make it in.
Oh.
Yeah, something came up and
well, what was she going to talk to us about? Were we alerted to that?
We want to talk about the
mock
Autumn
up
Fest.
A message here?
We would talk about Autumn Fest scholarship that's available for
you should know
local
about
high
that.
school kids.
Yes.
And the deadline is coming up soon. You just got to go to autumnfest.org. You can find the application to fill out, and they're looking for a less than a 500-word essay on why of what you have done to for the community, how you have volunteered for the community, and in some way may have affected
Because
Autumn
that's
Fest.
the focus there at Autumn Fest.
Yes.
It's service to community. It's
Yep.
the best work of life.
And they're giving away a $1,000 scholarship
Is that
to the
so?
to the winner this year. So hey,
That's a lot of money.
Nothing to sneeze at right there. And also, Autumn Fest is looking for Grand Marshal nominations. We like taking the
That's right.
public's input on that. You can also go to autumnfest.org and.
I nominate Joe Callahan.
Well, thank you very much. That's awful nice of you, Dave. But you got to fill out the form first.
Okay.
And then and send it in, and also why this person you believe should be the Grand Marshal
Well, that might be a
nomination.
little tougher.
So yeah, coming up with nice things to say. Okay. So, but Judy says she can make it on Monday, so we'll just reschedule it for Monday.
Can we do that?
Yeah.
Well,
You
it's
own-
it's our radio
You
station.
own
We
the
can do
place,
what we
Dave,
like,
you know?
right?
That's right. And Melissa Murray is on her way in. She says she's about 3 minutes away.
All right.
So we'll hold off on what I was going to mention about that until she gets here.
146 North strikes again.
So they're looking for a new president at the Community College of Rhode Island.
CCRI.
Yep. Megan
Hmm.
Hughes is resigning, not retiring.
Well, she's resigned. That's
Retiring.
interesting because
Yeah.
she's having a, well, how did they put it? A career pause.
Career pause to rededicate time to the family.
Which just goes to show you, we're paying these people too much, Joe. If they can afford to just,
Take a
I don't think
pause.
I'm going to work for a little while, and I'll spend some time with the family. And boy, if you can afford to do that, you didn't come from where I came from. That's for sure.
Now, she was the first woman to serve as president of CCRI, and she started in 2016. Well, I thought it was not that far back.
Who cares? First woman.
Well, they
Okay,
always got
fine.
to put that
That's
stuff
nice.
in.
Yeah, I guess they do.
She was a big advocate, a fierce advocate.
Was she good for the
free
job? Did she
tuition
do the
program.
job right? That's all that should matter in the workplace, isn't it?
Well, you never heard anything, no scandals coming out of CCRI,
Well,
so
there you
I'm
go.
going to have to say yes.
So she did a good job. If she did the work right,
Yep.
it doesn't matter what gender she is.
I know, but we always put that in.
Ugh.
Sorry. We're never going to get away from that, Dave. So, but anyway,
Well, don't
CCRI.
say never, Joe. Have some hope in your heart.
I don't think so.
Have some hope in your heart that somewhere along the line, we will grow up.
I don't think so.
No? All right.
Hmm.
Melissa is here. She just brought in the Woonsocket call. Thank you very much for dropping that off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything in there that we didn't have on the radio yesterday?
Well, we had about the city being sued by the
Yes,
Attorney
we did.
General, so we had that
Sure,
yesterday.
yeah.
And they're a little concerned that the Blackstone River, the water is kind of high.
It's March.
The Blackstone
For
River
pity's sake.
crested at below its flood stage Wednesday afternoon.
Right. So?
So the DEM announced it was lifting its no contact advisory for the river's water as concern for the Woonsocket Regional Wastewater Treatment Plant. Water
Because
quality
the flow
impacts
has
also
increased.
eased.
Right.
So,
Fif-
okay.
February, March, this is when freshets and floods happen. Now, we don't see them anymore for the last 60 years or so because of the fact that we have the flood control project from the Army Corps of Engineers here in Woonsocket. But down in Ashton, every February, every March, there would be concerns. And that's just nature taking over.
Okay.
So, oh my goodness, it's a high level. It's March.
Wait till April showers.
Somebody
That's right.
grow up out there.
Well, we had to do a story. Stella Lawrence had to do a story on it.
Well,
I'm sorry, Joe Nato had to do a story on it.
I'm sure that if Joe did the story, it's because some government official was looking for attention and asked him to put a story in.
Well, he got it. So Melissa Murray's here, and
And look at the lovely green sweater
Lovely
the
green,
lasses
yeah.
wear.
That's very nice.
Right. I got my little pin. and
happy St.
everything.
Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you. Now, this is this.
Now, wait a minute.
What's that?
I have to ask her a question before you start with all that foolishness.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what color is my shirt, Melissa?
It's grayish green.
See, she said gray.
It's grayish green, or maybe it's
This is the
greenish.
greenest
He
shirt
thinks
that I
he
own.
thinks it's green.
It's
a-
not Kelly green. It's not ON green.
I mean, it depends on the light,
you
but
know
I would
ON
say
green is the one that I like.
that's what I'm wearing.
Logo, right?
Oh well, mine's a little darker than ON green, but
Yeah. that's
Yeah.
most
it's not a
green.
Kelly green. It's more like an emerald green.
This is my green shirt.
Time for a new one.
All righty.
All right.
I
Listen,
thought I'd get a second opinion, and it didn't do me any good.
we were talking about something like this yesterday, but now there was a rally at the State House yesterday.
Did you see
and-
it?
No.
Did
No.
you take part?
No.
No.
Wasn't much of a rally there.
All
was
right.
it?
Well,
Well, you come
I
in the
guess
side
not.
door, don't you? You got special parking coming in the side door.
I do
You
have
don't
special
to deal with the
parking, I do.
riffraff out in the front steps.
well, also we were there earlier than
Oh,
usual
that's right.
yesterday.
That's right. I started seeing the results coming in very early in the afternoon.
Yeah, 3:00 we started.
Yeah.
Well, the rally was in support of legislation to make school meals free for everybody,
Oh, yes. Yep.
regardless of the family's income.
Yep.
Which leads
Which
me
has
to
been
what?
supported by Sodexo and many employees
Yeah.
of the
But,
lunchroom.
Like
Which
we said
we
yesterday-
did during the pandemic.
Like we said yesterday, who pays for it? Who pays for the free lunch?
Well, we pay for it.
The residents of the taxpayers?
The taxpayers pay for it.
on top of more classrooms needed, with more teachers and teachers assistants and aides.
Oh, yeah,
The
that was
assistants
the
or
other thing,
aides, because the class size now
to be
must be
20.
cut in half, and so yeah.
What if we run out of classrooms?
Hmm.
We'll likely run out of teachers first.
Probably. Yeah.
Well, that's coming.
Yeah, that is coming. It's a big, big concern.
Do you know what the average age of a teacher in public schools is right now? 40-something.
Right.
Guess
They're
what?
getting close to retirement.
It'll be in your lifetime, my
Yeah.
young friend.
Yeah.
You'll
But
be
there's
scratching
always-
for teacher. Oh, well, we got to have the teachers. So what are you going to do? You're going to lower the standards. That's what they've done so far. They're going to just keep lowering the standards to be in front of a class.
But this is something my daughter is interested in going into, elementary education. And so when we visit the different colleges,
Don't worry, the
there's
legislatures are on her side.
But there's always a mass of people thinking like her.
I think a lot of
coming
people
into
do.
into education.
Sure. I thought that at some point that I would become a teacher because I was always told by everyone like, "Oh, you're so great. You'd be a great teacher."
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they would tell me this. Because I could not do that job. So, when I was a teenager and even a young adult, a lot of people would say, "Oh, you'd be a wonderful teacher." Not sure why. So I did think about it. And then I thought, this is luckily before I started that endeavor, I said, this isn't really the profession for me. And then I started to think about social work, and I took a few social work classes, and then I realized that I would never, ever be able to survive on the money. And so I ended up getting a science degree in forensics, and now I don't do that either. So there you go, a classic American story.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's true.
My daughter's in the same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's 100 students there that say that, okay, we're coming in the freshman class to go into education, how many? All right, this isn't what I want to do.
It's much harder than you think it is.
Your daughter
I
Jocelyn
couldn't
may
do
be
it.
talked out of it before she gets through the
Hopefully, she's not listening to me.
Well, talked out of it by who?
Heaven knows. And somebody she meets, a group of people, circumstances, the fact that she's not a dope and she pays attention to what's going on, she could very easily be talked out of it.
Well, because it's very easy for her to visit her elementary school teachers, and they're all very happy that she wants to go into
Of
this.
course
Because they
they
want to
are.
retire
profession.
someday.
That's
Well,
right.
and if she has a gift for the profession, then I think that's amazing. I mean, we definitely need high quality teachers. And like I said, I respect what teachers do because I could not do it.
So the
Don't
Senate
have the
voted.
patience.
the
Don't
Senate-
have the patience.
The Senate approved the vote yesterday on that bill to limit the number of kids to 20. When does this start? This
Well, they
coming
got to
school
get
year?
it. They got to get it yanked through the Senate,
House
and the House,
first?
and get
We've passed
signed
it
by
for
a
several
governor.
years. We
Okay.
passed it several years, and it hasn't gone through the other chamber.
Okay. Well, let's see what
That's
the
the
House
case
does.
with a lot of bills.
I guess they're not drinking as heavily over on the House side, are they?
Oh my goodness!
No, none of that. They're
But they
in the
are
State
meeting
House.
today. They are meeting today.
They are meeting
Yes,
today?
they're making up Tuesday this afternoon, and I think some
Try to be out
folks
by
are
5.
not very happy about
Oh, I
it.
bet not.
Oh,
Well, we're not doing that.
All
We're
right.
making it up on Monday.
Smart.
It's smart.
All right, we're going to take a break here with the Coffee and Program, so I'm going to give it back over to Dave for another message from the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce.
And I've got to get to my place over here because I moved over to something else. Well, hold on just a second here. All right, signal your turns, Callahan. There you go. All right, yes. There's a proposed bill requiring new posted notice of gift card sellers. Ah, yes. I'm sure that there are really important things to discuss, but that's what they want to put some laws in about. Okay. I'm not particularly interested in that right now because we don't. We take gift cards from other people and give them away as prizes. We don't actually give out gift cards. But it doesn't matter whether it's for you. It might be for somebody else, right? Proposed preferential treatment for state bidders with child care benefits. That's another rule that's coming up for discussion in the legislature. And a proposed limit on self-checkout stations and manual checkout match. These are just the headlines of some of these nefarious deeds that are being perpetrated by your General Assembly in Providence. Proposed bill allows self-employed individuals to opt out of TDI and TCI. If I were a self-employed individual, I wouldn't do it. I know too many stories of people who opted out of Social Security and then couldn't retire.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's no big. When you're making the decision when you're young, hale, and hearty is one thing, but when it comes time for you to check out, you don't have the same options as the other working stiff that's been working for somebody else.
That's
if you decide
right.
to do that,
100%.
You got to be careful about that, folks. Proposed changes I mean, I was smart enough to do the employee route. Yeah, I didn't make as much money as the other guys, but I was in better position when I got further down the road. Proposed changes to the Rhode Island Workers Cooperatives benefits and guidelines. There's another one in here for the bill that would change the definition of employee to include apprentices, volunteers, and interns. Oh, that will just cost you a pile of dough. That's going to put my personal opinion and comment, that's going to put the final nail on internships in Rhode Island, which have been buddied and bloodied by the legislature for decades. And that's the end of interns if they are now employees. Considered all employees for every reason, except that you can't give them important things to do. So now you can't get them to do any productive work, but you are now responsible for them like an employee. Like to see that one fail. All right, and proposed changes to employment law on civil rights violations and NDAs, which in our business we all know as non-disclosure agreements, and that happens quite a bit. Well, where's the one about the non-competes? All right, I'm sure it's coming. Speaker Sakachi has a housing package. All of this stuff is in an email I'm looking at from the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce. The following bills were filed last week. An act related to labor and labor relations, Domestic Workers Bill of Rights. A Domestic Workers Bill of Rights? That sounds like a sitcom plot from the 1960s. Okay. Then let's see. There's another one here. An act relating to health and safety, zero-emission lawn care devices. Oh, great.
Electric.
A catalytic converter on your lawnmower. Eesh. Wake up. An act relating to commercial law, general regulatory provisions in grocery stores. And that's the one for the. That's the one about the checkout lines, isn't it? Is that just reworded?
Yeah, the self-checkout.
Yeah. Senate bill from Gu, Gallo, Mack, Lawson. Those are people's names, by the way. It is Gu, isn't it?
Yes.
I thought I had that right.
Yes. Yes.
An act relating to labor and labor relations, payment of wages. Obviously, you're in favor of it, right? Payment of wages?
Well, yes, you should pay your employees. I need to be a little more specific.
And then they're going to mess around with disability insurance, according to this other bill that's been filed in the Senate. State tax officials, an act relating to taxation. Let's see, 4 calendar years prior to the date on which notice of the delinquent payment is sent to the taxpayer. Oh, I see. That's trying to get your money. That's just a collection thing for the state government. I get it. Because some people just don't pay their taxes. We know that's been the case all down through history. Secure Choice Retirement Savings Program Act. Man, yeah, there's 4 more pages of stuff going on. You guys are busy.
We're very busy.
Hopefully you ignore most of those until you remove a few laws that no longer apply. But that's my personal opinion. Your opinion matters too. Get a hold of the Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce and just look at the wealth of information that somebody spends a lot of time gathering for you, and you're just barely keeping it together trying to keep your business going. Now, this stuff is at least delivered to you in your email box. You just can't put a price tag on what that means to you to be an informed business and an informed citizen. The Northern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce, the advocacy, the instructional programs, all of that stuff all wrapped in there. It's always worthwhile, in my view. You find out by calling 334-1000 after 9 o'clock this morning, and anyone who answers the phone can tell you how the Chamber can work hard for you too, and you'll find the return on investment quite flattering. Joe?
More Coffee Ant coming your way. 766-1240 for comments and questions.
Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
The Coffee Ant panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee in Pawtucket. They're a 62-year-old family business that roasts all its coffee right here in Rhode Island. Founded originally as Excellent Coffee Company, they provide great coffee to food service establishments throughout New England.
WOON Woonsocket Radio.
That's us, and it's Coffee Ant on ON, AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here, along with Dave Richards and Melissa Murray. And when Dave was going through, the list of things that the legislature is looking at, he brought up something about self-checkout. Is there what's the bill? That is it to limit how many?
To limit the number of self-checkouts.
At each store?
I believe so. I'm not exactly familiar with that bill.
Okay.
I'm a little more familiar than that. Yes. Well, they want there to be a ratio that you cannot exceed in the number of self-checkout lines to a number of full checkout lines.
Okay.
It's not that they want to eliminate the self-checkout. What they want to do is put the brakes on as grocery stores, like every other business, struggling with inflation, trying to keep their prices down, and working smaller margins all the time, will put in the devices instead of the labor at the checkout line. Now, a lot of your top shelf grocery stores find that they have to put 2 full-time employees on each checkout line. And if you have 4 or 5 checkout lines, now you're looking at 8 to 10 employees drawing a salary, benefits, blah, blah. Maybe union benefits as well, depending on what store they are and whether or not your workforce is unionized. But over at the self-serve, they have just 1 employee there to keep resetting the dang thing when it screws up on
Right.
you.
The light starts flashing.
Okay, so it's not just me, because
Oh, no,
every
it's
time.
everybody. It's everybody.
Every time.
Well, I will say this at the risk of having someone disagree with me. This is my personal experience and my opinion based on my experiences at I'll mention it, at a certain grocery store that recently had labor problems. One finds it easy to imagine. Careful the way I said that, folks. Get the tape. One finds it easy to imagine that one of the ways they settled that disagreement, that labor disagreement, was that they really messed up the software running the self-checkout so that it cannot run automatically, that people will refuse to use it because it's constantly harassing customers with malfunctions, and it will keep people going through the human lines. Now, it's easy to imagine that because that's what happened right after the labor unrest. Because before that, the self-checkout was working very smoothly. Since then, this shopper has never successfully gotten through without a malfunction.
What about you, Melissa? Any issues with the self-checkout?
I just hate it.
All right.
I feel like if I'm going to scan my own things, then like put me on the payroll. I don't like to, when you go to a store, I just like to have somebody checking out, my items. I'm not saying that to be like snooty or anything or bougie, but I do know the store that to which Dave is referring, and I don't shop there because I think they're actually too expensive. Because they're quite pricey.
I don't make all those decisions, Melissa. Sometimes the fabulous Denise encourages
Sometimes
me
you need- right,
moderate
right.
my points of view.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can't just go to one place anymore. You can't get all your things in one place anymore.
now-
So you
now
gotta
this-
go.
this is gossip and hearsay time.
Yeah.
You heard my opinion based on my experiences. I will illuminate a little bit and go just a little bit further. One of my experiences was when the unionized employee came over to reset my machine so I could continue with my checkout. I said, one of the things your union's got to do is get a hold of corporate to fix the machine. And the comment they said back to me added up to, they already have.
Okay.
They've already fixed it, or
They've
already
already addressed
Oh.
the software.
All right, it's still not working though.
Well, you add it up
Correctly,
and it
yeah.
never. And it's been months and months, maybe a year now, and it never gets corrected. So you take that comment to mean that the union addressed the software.
No, okay. Now, what I've noticed at the supermarkets and other places that have the self checkout, there'll be close to like 6 self checkouts
Yeah.
to go, but the line with somebody else there's only 2. So are you trying to even that out?
No, they're just trying
Is
to
that-
make
is
sure
that
that
what the-
that
is that what the
stores-
legislature's trying to do?
They're trying to encourage mercantiles not to put in too many of these.
Well,
things.
Right. So the ratio of
So if
'Cause
there's
it does-
3
People-
checkouts, you want 3
It does a
people in the
couple of
line.
things. It puts people on the unemployment line, or fails
Yeah.
to employ those that might be able to be employed, and it doesn't give choice to the shopper. They have to use a machine, which may or may not malfunction.
So if there's 3 self checkouts, there should be 3 people checking people out. Is that
I
what
don't
you're
know what
shooting for?
what the bill says, but yeah,
All right.
the ratio of like in-person checkout to self-checkout.
All right.
Although I don't know, it probably depends on the size of the store. Like it's going to have
I'm
a lot
sure it
of
does.
factors.
Sure it does.
Sales
so,
and things like
How
that.
many checkout places do you have? This percentage can be automatic.
right.
And
Like-
and
like
that-
probably not
That's probably the
50%,
best way to look
right?
at it.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
I've never liked self-checkout. I like that personal interaction.
Well, we all do, Melissa.
However-
but sometimes,
however,
Just don't do it. If there's 5 people in line and there's tons of self-checkouts free,
If I only-
just stand in line.
if I only have like one item,
yeah,
maybe 2,
Yeah.
yeah.
the self checkout's just going to be much quicker. However, when I've had more stuff and going, and it's not everywhere, but some places, sometimes the cashier is just surly. And it's like, well, this was completely
Well,
unpleasant.
Yeah,
and I would have had a better time with the machine.
You run into that in every profession.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
There's some people who are pleasant, and some people just aren't pleasant. Don't want to be there.
Yeah.
They're not going to do the extra mile because it's very difficult for an employer to govern the attitude of their workers.
That's
Well,
for
that's
sure.
right.
That's
You-
for
you
sure.
can't-
They're
you
public-facing workers.
Right.
They encourage them to be pleasant and helpful and smiling, but if they push the matter, they could very well find themselves in court. So that's a difficult thing.
But this one time, I didn't even get a
I mean, the
hello.
only one that I know got away
Right.
with it was Disney, because they own their own government area there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. It blows me away when I go to the checkout line and the person doesn't even look up and say hello. They
Oh,
just
yeah.
start
This
scanning
is
your items.
scanning
and-
your items,
So great. How are you?
Yeah.
That's-
But we
I know,
hasten-
but I'm.
we hasten to point out that when you go to places like Pepin Lumber
Yeah.
or Vo's True Value Hardware, you don't have these decisions.
Well,
Right.
that's-
You're
There's
going
it's
to
not an
get
issue.
the local service. You're going to get the service from people who
Yep.
know what they're doing.
And you probably will get in
And
those.
there's many more. I just happened to pop those two in my brain.
Right. But you're absolutely right. And then you probably will even get the owner or the family member of the owner or somebody who's been there for a really long time checking you out. That personal mom and pop businesses are like the lifeblood of any city and town now.
But I was in up north in New Hampshire where they can sell alcohol in the grocery store.
Yeah.
And I went through the self checkout because I wanted to see what happens when I try to buy a bottle of wine at the self checkout to see what happens.
Little light goes on.
I scanned it. Yeah. Ooh, everything stopped.
Yep. You better have
They
your
wanna
ID.
See, they want to see your
Yep.
ID, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's smart.
Well, I was ready to give it to me until the woman came over, took a look at me, and said, "You're fine," and scanned her
no.
scan thing, and I was on my way. I said, "Thanks
Just
a
make
lot."
me just lighten
Humor
my
me.
day a
Yeah,
little
no,
bit, you know.
Oh, sir, we need to see your license. Oh, okay, but no, I've gone to that edge. Now I've gone over it. All right, it's time for a look at the forecast. Taking a break here on the Coffee and Program. The forecast being brought to you by Compassion International.
More clouds than sun today with a high of 58 and calm wind. Tonight, mostly cloudy with a low of 38. Saturday's weather, mostly sunny with a high of 53. Sunday, mostly sunny and 38 and breezy. Monday, sunshine and 48. Tuesday, sunshine and 54. Wednesday, mostly sunny and 54. And next Thursday, there's a tiny chance of rain. Mostly sunny skies, however, are predicted with a high of 49.
Currently, outside the Navigate Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, we do have sunny skies and 42 degrees. Drought, war, and rising food prices have devastated families in poverty. $50 provides a food kit to feed a family for a month. Just text the word radio to 97646.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, two locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Just in case you have not heard, Champ's Diner in Woonsocket is open once again. Stop in today to pick your favorite breakfast dish. Pancakes, waffles, French toast, omelets, muffins, bagels, and fruit can all be had at Champ's Diner. Judy invites you to stop in Tuesday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., and she'll cook you your favorite breakfast to order. Champ's Diner, 719 Front Street, Woonsocket. Rediscover Champ's Diner today. Hi, this is Joe Callahan, your maitre d' inside the Tiki Bar, heard Monday nights at 6 on ON Radio. It's 1 full hour of Jimmy Buffett music. The Tiki Bar is brought to you by Attorney Bob Lauder, the Carew Investment Group, Pep & Lumber, and Family Discount Furniture.
ON Radio, ON Worldwide.
This portion of the Coffee and Program is sponsored by the Valley Breeze newspaper.
Since its founding in 1996, the Valley Breeze has been the trusted source for local news in the Blackstone Valley. Our readers and advertisers understand that shining a light on all aspects of our communities and doing it with some of the best local journalism anywhere makes these cities and towns better places to live in. We believe that truth has value and should triumph over rumors and misinformation. See valleybreeze.com or any of our 5 editions for more on how you can be part of this local news success story.
Coffee In here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Dave Richards, Melissa Murray, and we're also being joined at the Coffee and Table by Rich Elaine from Post 85 here in Woonsocket. So we talked about it on Monday, the handing over of the car from Imperial Cars to the Post. Dave had the nice film, the nice little ceremony that was there. You were in the picture on the front page of the Call. That was very nice. So I just looking for your impressions of how that whole day went yesterday. The crowd that showed up was quite impressive.
Yeah, I just can't say enough about the, well, not only Imperial, Kevin, me, and that whole crew up there. They welcomed us when we got up there, and Melissa, I'm very sorry. I heard you were a little ill last week.
I
You
was,
couldn't
yeah,
make it,
fighting a
but-
sinus infection. It was the worst, but
Yeah.
I did post the video and I watched the video. I was really sorry I couldn't make it, but it was so great. Everyone's cheering and
Oh,
like
yeah.
I saw you with the mic there doing your part. It was
Yeah,
great.
Dave, you guys had that segment on employees and stuff like that. So Dave, Dave, I'm looking for compensation for holding that. By the way.
No, you're just an intern.
Yeah, just an intern. But no, it was fantastic. I mean, we got up there and they welcomed all of us with open arms, and it's nice. It's just nice to see people appreciate the veterans that were up there. And I'll tell you, when my commander Bobby LaForte got behind the wheel of that vehicle and rolled it out of the parking lot, I mean, that was an incredible feeling to watch him do that. And him and I went back and forth. He said, "Why don't you drive it back?" No. I said, "This is your responsibility. You're the commander, and you do it." And I said, when we got back to the post, I says to him, "So how was it just having a nice, quiet, non-controversial?" Because he puts up with so much stuff down there, trying to get things right, and people have their opinions on how things should be done. And I said, "How was it just to be behind the wheel of the car, nice and quiet, and enjoy the ride?" And he said, "Rich, it was lovely." It was
Yeah, I'm so happy for y'all, and sorry that I couldn't be there, but
Well, you definitely, Melissa, you definitely support the veterans on there. We know
absolutely.
that. So
yeah. Just a little under the weather, and I knew what it was. I felt it coming on every March. I get an ear infection, sinus infection. And,
It's like clockwork, huh?
It is. And then, Dave said to me the other day, he was like, "Well, if you know it's coming, then why don't you take care of yourself?" And I'm like, "Well, it always sneaks up on me."
but you know what they
So-
did at Imperial, though, which would really, we weren't even expecting. On top of getting the vehicle, they gave us a free 2-year maintenance program. On
Wow.
top of
Oh,
it. Yep,
fantastic.
Yep, when we had no idea with that, and
That is
so,
great.
Yep. So
Oil,
not,
oil changes and things
yeah,
like that.
yeah. So isn't that
Just bring it
great?
back,
Yeah,
yeah.
just
so-
something less to worry about, right, on top of everything else.
Yep, but Kevin's always Kevin Meehan, the owner up there of Imperial Chevrolet, and this is not a commercial spot for him or anything, but he's always been very generous to the community and things. So, Kevin, just keep on doing what you're doing, and I hope this brings you some business because what you did for the
Absolutely.
veterans around, not only the Woonsocket, but like the bordering towns, of Woonsocket and Southern Mass. We're going to do the best we can with that vehicle to get our veterans to their VA medical appointments. That's for sure.
All right.
Yeah.
Now,
Once again, going back to those family-owned businesses, small businesses, they're always the ones that give back.
Yep.
Always.
where do things stand with the car and getting it registered?
Oh,
Because there's always a story, Melissa.
yeah. Well, something.
I know you had to get it registered. You had to get the VIN check number. And
Well,
like that to
no,
get the
I'll tell
plates.
you what, the lady, and I believe her name is Nancy over at Imperial Chevrolet, she literally, I'm looking at all this paperwork. And I downloaded everything, and there were like 5 or 6 pieces of paper, and I'm going, oh, man, I don't want to do this. So I get up to Imperial that day, and I go in to see Nancy, and she has everything filled out. And even that VIN check thing, you got to
Was
go.
done?
Yeah, that was done
Oh,
already.
that's really
Wow.
nice.
So I was real happy about that. But then you have to go and get the vehicle insured.
I thought it was. I thought you already talked to.
We did. We talked to
Someone-
one agency, and it's got to be insured as a commercial vehicle.
Okay.
And just take whatever your insurance rate might be right now on your car and
Yeah,
multiply
triple
it by 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
So
Why
mean,
is it considered a commercial vehicle? You're
Well,
just
we-
using it like a taxi.
I know. Well, it's for it's not for profit, but the thing is,
Right.
I guess if they're gonna, it's insured to the post owns it.
Right.
The title is the American Legion Post 85. It's our vehicle, but we're gonna have multiple drivers,
That makes it a commercial
so
vehicle.
it kind of makes it a commercial vehicle.
Because you want to make sure that every
Okay.
driver is covered when
Well,
they're in
yeah.
a car, but
But the funny story you asked about, yes, there is a story. You guys were talking earlier about like.
Does it involve the DMV?
No,
Oh,
not
okay.
at all. Well, first of all, the DMV is kind of tough because it's kind of good that you have to make an appointment now online and everything like that. That way, when you get down there, you're not standing in line for.
Yeah, you're in and
Right.
out.
You know,
Right,
you don't have to
right.
bring a sleeping bag and a ration of
True,
food.
true,
you
true,
know?
true.
But it's difficult to get an appointment. I mean, you look and like there's not an appointment till week after next. So, but I it's not that. I got it like they did earlier. You got to be kind of careful on how much you want to say. But we have this insurance company that we deal with at the Post, and I called them the Monday after we got the vehicle, and I said, could you this is what we need. Do you guys do this type? Because we got that one quote from one agency local, and then I said, well, we got to shop around here. So I said, can you kind of put a rush on this to this company that we deal with? And the lady said, yes. She said, and she sent me, and she said, we'll rush it. I said, well, I have this appointment with the registry on Wednesday. So lo and behold, I get nothing back in the email. And I pick up the telephone on Tuesday, and I call her number. And there's a lovely little thing on the voicemail that says, I won't be back in the office until March 17th, which is
Oh my
today.
goodness.
But if you need immediate assistance, dial 0 for the operator. I hit 0. I'm sorry, this number is not available for you.
Wow.
Yeah, oh yeah. Not now.
You just hang up from there? Fine, forget it.
Click.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, now I'm going to send an email. This happened the next day. I was frustrated, so I did a lovely thank you for nothing email. Basically, now on there is a contact telephone number for the other person. But I had the email. You couldn't do it through the phone. So I call that number. Nice lady. I'll take care of this for you, Mr. Lane. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I get this form yesterday by an email. The information you gave us the other day wasn't adequate for the insurance company that we're dealing with. They changed their protocol. And like this 7-page form pops up.
Wow.
So I'm in the middle of doing some work yesterday. I pick up the phone. I talk to this other lady. I say, look, I said, don't we do $13,000 a year worth of policy coverage with you people? She goes, yes. I said, well, that 7-page form? She goes, yes. I says, I'm in the middle of work. Could you do me a favor and ask me the questions? I'll be more than happy to answer them. Well, we normally don't. I said, ma'am, this was a rush. Yeah. I can't fill out this form and get it to you in time. And don't you realize that we want to put this vehicle on the road for our veterans? We got to get them the VA medical appointments. She reluctantly but very kindly asked me all the questions.
All right.
So I'm waiting for an email to pop this morning. That's the long and short of it. I'm waiting for an email to pop this morning from a couple of different insurance agencies, and hopefully we can get some quotes. But there was a nice person when they saw all this stuff in the newspaper, which made me really, really happy. And Estelle Bubble was kind of part of this too. Thank you, Estelle, if you're listening. There was a person that saw the write-up in the paper. Please accept this modest donation. A nice letter came at the Post the other day of $50 to help, the Post pay for gas.
Yes.
Nice.
Wasn't that nice, huh?
Yeah.
Like somebody out of nowhere just did that. So if anybody else out there wants to do the same thing, we'll happily take it. But we're gonna get the car on the road. My target date right now is the first week in April.
Okay.
So I got to have some meetings with our committee and me. We got to have meetings with volunteer drivers and things like that. Wrap up a few things, but yeah, our target date is the first week in April. So, once it's good, like I say, I'll definitely come in here. But we're working extremely hard to get that car on the road. Believe me.
Well, very good. All right, we got to take a break here in the Coffee and program, so it's time to hear another message from the Valley Breeze newspaper. And let's see, do I have them right over here? Oh, I believe this is it. And no, that's not it. Oh, yes, it is.
Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal real special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogi with onions and dirty sour cream, or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported goods. We're open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays from 9 to 6, Wednesdays 9 to 5, and Saturdays 8 to 5. Follow us on Facebook to learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street in Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery and Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love. This ON AM and FM weather forecast sponsored by Valley Transportation, now offering transportation using school buses for school field trips, senior bingo trips, weddings, or any other adult trips. Leave the driving to the professionals and the courteous drivers of Valley Transportation, 664 Front Street, Woonsocket. Telephone number 762-5055.
Consumer Reports magazine says March is a good time to buy a vacuum cleaner. If your old vacuum cleaner isn't working the way it used to, it may be time to invest in a new one. Go to the experts at Marion Soenvac. They carry the top-of-the-line Miele and Sebo bagless vacuum cleaners. Both remove 99.9% of dirt and dust. Plus, they carry a full line of sewing machines, and some of the sewing machines even do embroidery. Marion's will also do repairs. Marion Soenvac, 234 Pulaski Boulevard, Bellingham, open Tuesday through Saturday. The service specials at Tasker Buick GMC is working out so well, they just continue on. Bring your vehicle to Tasker Buick GMC for an oil change and tire rotation, which includes a complimentary multi-point vehicle inspection, car wash, and vacuum for $69.95. The alignment special is $89.95, and a full vehicle reconditioning specials inside and out starting at $199. And it doesn't matter whether you purchased your vehicle at Tasker Buick GMC or not. Tasker Buick GMC on Fortin Drive, Woonsocket. You will be satisfied.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
Coffee and here on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callan here with Rich Lane from Post 85, Melissa Murray, Dave Richards, and Dave's got the copy of this week's Valley Breeze in his hand.
I have a couple of them, Joe. I have the Cumberland Lincoln edition right now. And this one right here. Thank you. This one right here. Top of the... gee whiz, it moved. You move the camera. The committee, the school committee in Cumberland approves of $521 in small business grants. Vandalism in Lincoln Parks continues despite cameras. Yikes. And the first of the joyous season of top high school students for the class of 23
Already?
have been announced.
Wow.
Cumberland has announced Orion Lee and Susanna Henderson are the top of their class. And the pictures are in there as well. That's in the Cumberland Lincoln edition. And also in the Blackstone, North Smithfield, and Woonsocket edition of the Valley Breeze newspapers. Then we had a nice little celebration earlier this week where the city celebrated a 100th birthday of Hachiko. That was actually a week ago today. And I couldn't attend it because I was with you guys up there in Mendon. But they have some Hachiko style dogs that are not 100 years old. They have the statue of the dog that was represented in the movie, which was shot there at our Woonsocket Depot some years ago with Richard Gere as the star. And Woonsocket's new tax assessor is helping to sort through appeals, and there are many. Kind of an interesting thing there. And also below the fold we read the North Smithfield student creates a bill. They're starting them young, aren't they?
It sure are.
Creates a bill to aid victims suffering from domestic violence. That plus a whole bunch of really great ads. The Valley Breeze newspaper, free where you shop. Joe?
All right, Dave, thank you very much. And so, Rich, things move forward with the car. So best of luck getting
Moving
everything,
along.
Yeah.
getting up and getting running up
You got
on
a
the road
band
by
playing
April
this
1st.
weekend?
Yes.
What?
What about
Do you have a
entertainment?
Oh
band
yeah,
playing this
heck,
weekend?
let's talk about
the
today.
corned beef and
We
cabbage
got
and
to talk
stuff.
about today.
Let's not talk about the car anymore.
No more car. Corned beef and cabbage, absolutely. So, in fact, as soon as
Gonna
we
have a
get,
plate or two of them today?
oh yeah, as soon as we get done today, I'm heading down to the post, and we're cooking up corned beef and cabbage and the potatoes and all that good stuff, and we're gonna start with sandwiches right around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and if I'm off on the time, you can sit there and have a green beer while you're waiting for the sandwiches. But we're doing corned beef sandwiches on rye with some coleslaw and some
love
chips. That'll be $7, and then that'll go through the afternoon. Then at 4 this afternoon, or right around that time, we are going to be doing the full corned beef and cabbage meal. So that's $12, and then at 7 o'clock tonight, we got the Threesome Band coming down. They're going to do a little bit of music. I'm sure there'll be some Irish tunes plugged in there, but it's a full day of festivities down at American Legion Post 85. So come on down, and like I said, with us getting the car last week and having the St. Patty's Day thing going on, so it's a very festive time down there. So if you've been sitting back for the
And you can
last
see
year,
the car in the parking lot, too.
yeah, you can see the car in the parking lot. I'll even take a picture with it, with it if you want. But yeah, I mean, if you've been sitting back saying, "Gee, I wonder what the place is all about," and if you want to see a real happy day, come on down today. Have some, have a little bit of green beer, some corned beef and cabbage, and speaking of the corned beef and cabbage thing, didn't you find it extremely interesting was it the Archbishop of Providence?
No, well, they're not archbishops. We're too small to have an archbishop. But the Bishop of Providence,
Yeah.
in one of his
No
final acts as
dispensation.
bishop, because he's gone in May, one of his final acts, he decided to, shall we say, buck the trend
Yes.
and not offer a one-day dispensation for Catholics to eat meat today.
Well,
Irish Catholics.
Well, you know something,
any-
and I
Any
mean,
Catholic, right?
Not
But-
everybody's not everybody's Catholic or Irish Catholic, and but it's gotta. Doesn't this guy kick back and think, how's this affect like businesses too? I mean,
I don't think they ever think
no.
that.
It's
like
not
that.
his business. No,
yeah,
that's
I know,
not his
I
business.
know
They
that.
just say,
but-
well, it's too bad.
okay, like today,
Not
all
his
right?
concern.
Today, I mean, I'm Catholic, so I tried out to do the meat thing on Friday. But I'm from Massachusetts. I've got dispensation. But
There you
what
go.
am I, can I
You
eat
do.
corned beef in
That's
Rhode
the
Island?
thing, right? If you live in Rhode Island, but
good
you go
point.
to mass, like maybe you live in a border town, and you go and your church is in Massachusetts.
No, it's where you're registered. It's where you are
I know, I
enrolled.
just-
We know
Is
this.
it?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
where
then,
you're
so I'm
enrolled.
fine.
Yeah.
Then going, but no. So what I'm
yeah.
gonna do? I mean, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna swap off. This is a great sacrifice for me. No alcohol today.
Ooh.
Zero.
big.
Zero. That way, when I cut the corned beef down the post, at least I'm not gonna cut my fingers off.
Well, that's important.
That's
Yeah,
important.
I got to consider
That's
that.
important.
But seriously, I think a lot of people might agree when we say things like, "This is a personal matter
Yes.
between you and your maker, and you have leadership in your church." And they will make decisions that you'll agree with or you won't agree with. This is natural on this planet, and it happens all the time. We don't ever suggest that you might go against what the leadership of your body makes for rules. We feel that you have to respect leadership. Even if you disagree with them, you respect your leadership. But you can pick up you can pick up a meal and maybe get it boxed and bring it home, perhaps.
Yes, you
Yeah,
can.
absolutely.
But
So-
they did the same thing in Chicago too. Did you see that? The
No, I
bishop in
didn't see it.
Chicago. They paint their river green for the
know,
Chicago
my
River.
goodness.
It's
Oh, my
green.
goodness.
It's year round, isn't it? Green year round. I
I-
thought
I-
that was
No, they
evolution,
died
wasn't
on.
it?
No, they died on St. Patrick's Day.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
yeah, and the bishop.
Greenish.
Yeah, the bishop in Chicago did the same thing, so
Yeah.
he must be a real popular gentleman around there too.
It's not like when soccer back in the 50s. Well, Seville's running green cloth today.
And we don't even want to talk about the Blackstone River.
No,
do we?
not right now.
Not right
Nah.
now.
We did get a note that was called in 766-1240. Post Vets cost is $12 for corned beef and cabbage meal. Is that what you said? $12.
Yes,
Okay.
that's what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they said just keep this price in the city. All right.
Cheapest price. So Jill.
Oh, they said cheapest price in the
No,
city. and-
keep this price in the city.
Oh no, I'm sure that was a
Okay,
mistranscription.
yeah.
Well, maybe if that's what the words say.
Yeah, well, Jill, if you're listening down at the post right now, if they're bragging that it's only $12, you better go out and buy a couple more corned beefs and shove them in the oven because we may
Well,
need
you got
them.
you got a whole weekend you're going to need. So I would stock up on all of them.
All right. You knew this was coming at some point. At least I thought it would be coming at some point. And actually, Rhode Island is ahead of Massachusetts on this one. But there's a marijuana dispensary down in Exeter. It says, I want to do home delivery of recreational marijuana.
But they were already
And he
doing.
got
That's the thing.
He was doing medical.
Well,
So
so
now
what?
he got the okay to do recreational.
Because they had a well-established plan with
Yeah.
no infractions or anything. They were
Well, we'll
rip
see what the
snorting, ready to
infractions
go,
are.
and they could prove it over the past. So
Yep.
If they have the
it's
data
easier
to prove
give
it,
them permission.
right, right.
So you can't call. It's not like Amazon. You can't call up and say have something delivered in 2 hours.
No.
You got to plan ahead, and you can call up or however you do it.
Be the next
and
day.
You get it the next day. Yeah.
Right. So if you're having a few friends over,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody, yeah, I gotta call up and order. It's not like the liquor store; they'll have it over in an hour.
That's right.
But no. Well, hey, listen. We greet that news with mixed feelings, but at the same time, God bless them if they've done the extra homework and they've got the support in place.
I'm sure they have.
They show that they can be responsible and follow all the rules. Then there's no reason why they should be denied.
Well, I'm not really against that at all because, you watch the shows today and they're saying that the fentanyl, they expect fentanyl, marijuana to be, if you're not buying it from reputable dealers, they're expecting, like, in the next couple of years, they're going to see a lot of marijuana with, laced with fentanyl.
Yeah,
I mean-
or
Wow.
or
Yeah.
worse now, animal tranquilizers, which
Yeah.
doesn't respond to Narcan, which is terrifying. It's
Yeah.
right. So at least you,
So
know,
you're
if
gonna
you're
s-
going to indulge, you know what you're getting. You know that
There you
it's
go.
safe, right?
Well, you
And-
would
and-
expect it is.
and I would say it like this: if you're going to smoke dope, buy from a reputable dealer. Right, there you go.
Well, they've been saying that for a long time, Rich. But that was the argument back in the 30s too, when they lifted prohibition. They said now, of course, when commercial manufacturers get involved again with manufacturing liquor, there will be standards, there will be inspections, there will be a lot for them to lose should they deliver a contaminated product.
Right.
Because there was an awful lot of that bathtub gin. You didn't know what the heck you were drinking.
Moonshine going to make you go blind.
You know,
It's
all
not
kinds
a
of
good
different things that could go wrong.
backyard stuff.
The same thing with marijuana as well. So now that they're going to legalize it, or they have legalized it, and they're going to control it, now you're not going to want to buy it from the kid on the street corner.
That's right.
All right, Rich, you've been known to have tip back a beer or two, right?
Yeah, one or two.
Okay.
Responsibly, of course.
You may want this for the summer. Keep track of this. Coors Light is now offering beer.
You already lost me.
Coors Light. Oh, sorry. But Coors Light is offering beer flavored popsicles.
No, forget it.
Ugh.
No one, Melissa. on that one,
Forget
right?
it.
Well, maybe if it was like a creamsicle stout or
God,
something
no,
like that,
please.
like some kind of fancy craft stout.
Doesn't really
popsicle.
say.
But I'm sure it's not like I'm not going to go out and have a Bud Light pop.
Well,
No, I'm from the 60s and 70s. I want to know what chemicals they put in there to fool my taste
well, I'm not
buds.
telling you.
Oh.
However, the Corsicles are non-alcoholic.
Corsicle.
That's what they're calling them.
Right,
Corsicles.
which
Okay.
means they've got to put a chemical in that will fool your taste receptors into thinking they're tasting alcohol.
And they're marketed as made to chill. Molson Coors is selling them for the NCAA tournament as a way to stay chill when things get heated. Supplies are limited, and you have to buy them at Coors online shop. A new batch is released every day through March 24th. A 6-pack of Corsicles will cost you, what do you think?
Well, they're not going to sell them cheap.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to say it's going to be a stupid price, like $25 for a 6-pack
Oh,
or
no,
something.
that's
Just
too
because
high.
it's just,
Just over $20.
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
that. See?
Novelty item.
Yep, that's what I was
I
saying.
bow in your general direction.
So I don't know if it's 25. Might be like $21.99 or $22.99
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something like that. But yeah.
Well, we got marketing geniuses out there, don't we, today?
Corsicles.
Please.
They're. I'm sure it tastes lovely.
Going off of that too, I was watching a program the other day where some ice cream maker had like salad dressing flavored ice creams, like ranch
Really?
dressing ice
Yeah,
cream.
I know. I did heard a
God,
story about
can
that.
you-
That's right.
Can you imagine?
It's not for me.
Yeah.
All right. We're coming up on the end of the program, so we want to thank you for listening in. As always, Dave Richards, thanks for coming in today.
It's been a pleasure. Nice being here with good friends.
All right. Melissa Murray, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Rich Lane from Post 85. Good luck with the car, getting your insurance and all that.
Thank you, and
good
come
luck
on.
with the corned beef and cabbage.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on down today, everybody. It's
Yeah.
cheap, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
All
Happy
right.
St. Patrick's Day. And I
Yep.
always say this on days like this, please be safe and stay off the roads if you've been indulging.
Or
Very
have
good.
yourself a designated driver.
Even
As
better.
a professional
That's right.
designated driver,
That's
I've
right.
I've helped on many a friend. And
It's always a
speaking
good
of friends,
idea.
by the way, Gary and the gang will be here in a half hour.
With
Yay.
Do You Remember? And tonight, if you're listening on Friday, go Friars. They take on the University of Kentucky, first round of the NCAA tournament.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. Channel 10 TV News reports the Westerly High School staff member that was facing allegations of inappropriate behavior toward a student we told you about earlier this week is no longer employed by the district. The superintendent did not say